Hello, are you working in an organization in which applications do not talk to each other and seem redundant at times? Or are you a program manager working in a service based industry and trying to understand the roadmap for your customer for this year or the next year? Then this topic is of your interest. Hello, my name is Ram Venkatraman. I have got more than 2 decades of distributed software delivery experiences. Today we will be talking about enterprise architecture. What is the definition of enterprise architecture? How this can help organization achieve their mission and the vision, and what are the different roles and responsibilities and deliverables of enterprise architecture practice, and what are the different types of architects that exist in organization. So these are the things we are going to be discussing in today's topic. Let's get into today's topic, that is enterprise architecture. Before I give the definition of it, let's try to understand what an enterprise is. The enterprise is an organization which has a definitive objective, right? I mean, they may try to come up with their own unique set of services or products through people, process, and technologies, right? It can be governmental or profitable or non-profitable. It can be anything, right? So that is a definition of enterprise. If you are working in an enterprise organization, you believe it or not, you have enterprise architecture. Whether it is formally created or not doesn't matter, but it exists, right? If you have an organization which is operational, it means that enterprise architecture is there. So, what is the definition of enterprise architecture? Enterprise architecture is a collection of a skill set or practice that would help align business strategies with technologies and tools that will help achieve business strategies. The vision statement of an organization will tell you what is the necessity for that organization to exist. And the mission statement will tell you how they are going to achieve their vision. So these two statements, that is mission and the vision, are the guiding principles for enterprise architecture group to act. I mean, we would probably call this as EA group going forward. So the EA will try to accomplish their activities through three different simple steps. Number one, trying to understand the different components of their organization. The examples can be their people, I mean their set of employees, and their data, and their network, and their different facilities, their infrastructures, their customer segment in which they operate, and their competitor, the kind of competitors that they have at this point of time, and the technology in which they work, the kind of applications that they operate. So these are the examples of the organization in which the organization perform, right? So the EA group will try to understand the different component that created this organization. Number two, what are the different enablers and what are the different restrictions that these component has, right? So every component will have their own constraints or limitations or restrictions, right? And they will help each other. The components might help each other. So those will be enablers. So the EA will try to understand that. That will be step number two. Number three is to study these components under different market conditions and find out how they behave differently under different market conditions to achieve their business strategy. So these are the three simple steps through which EA will try to achieve their final objective, right? So what are the deliverables of this EA group? I would broadly classify them into three different classifications, right? Number one will be technological standardization, right? They will try to bring out different technological patterns and different documentation, right? And what are the different technology that need to be removed? I mean, the few technologies may not be supported anymore, and we may have to bring in a few new technology based on our roadmap for the next year. So these are the suggestions that need to be given by enterprise architecture group. Number two will be methodological changes or standardization. For example, if we are running our projects in waterfall, so moving from waterfall to agile will have to be done based on the recommendation from EA, right? So these are the changes that will be recommended based on the different practices that help across that happen across our organization. So EA has a very good view of a different project that happen across organization, right? So they have to understand that, and based on that, they will have to suggest this methodological changes, right? So that will be number two. Number three will be a process-wise change. What kind of release process that we have. I mean, introducing DevOps, how this is going to be beneficial for us to achieve whatever we want to achieve. So that will also be recommended by enterprise architecture group. So those are the three things that will be provided by EA. Number one is that standardization in technology, methodology, and process, right? So these are the deliverables of EA group. So when we are talking about enterprise architecture, what are the different types of architecture that exist in any organization? I mean, most of the big organizations do have. Number one is that enterprise architecture. That is what we have been talking about. Number two will be solution architects, right? So what do they do? I mean, let's probably take banking as an example. You have different LOBs under banking, different lines of businesses under banking. For example, payments, right? You take payments LOB, and there will be multiple applications that exist within payments platform, payments LOB, right? So one maybe for international payments, one for local, one for reporting, one for doing batch systems, right? So how these applications talk to each other, right? How they are fitting it in the big picture of their lines of business is something that a solution architect will have to work, and their input will be fed for enterprise architect. Okay, enterprise architect will have a good collaboration with the solution architect, but solution architect will have a more drill down view on their lines of business. So that is point number two. I mean, that's a second type of architect that exists in organization. Number three will be application architect, right? So as we were talking about this payments lines of business, if you are doing international payment processing, then if you have to come up with a payment processing engine for Swift messages, right? So this application architect will have to think about the different technologies that will be suited for this current application. So his view will be very much narrowed down to his current application, and maybe it will be extended to its interfacing application. So that is where his focus will be around. So at the bottom level, you have application architect who will focus very much on their applications, right? And on top of it, you have solution architect who will have a broader picture within their lines of business, right? One department. And on top of it, you have enterprise architecture who will cut across different LOBs, and they will have a bird's eye view on their organization, and they will make all these suggestions that this organization will need. The EA group will directly report into CIO of the organization, that is Chief Information Officer of the organization. The reason is that the kind of changes that EA recommend will need a lot of management support. EA will probably recommend sunsetting of few existing applications for which there will be a lot of repulsions coming from their own team, and on which the management push will be required. That's the reason why EA will directly report into a CAO, so that they will have good influence. So, to put it in a nutshell, EA will help any organization to maximize their growth by optimizing their performance through suitable technology and processes. These are the things that I wanted to share on enterprise architecture functions, right? In today's scenario, when we move applications from on-prem to cloud, or multiple applications working in multi-cloud scenario, how relevant is EA function going to be? Or will cloud architect be able to function as a, enterprise architect with a little bit of cross skilling. What do you guys think about that? Do let me know in comments column. Thanks for watching. Bye.